Snow and winter weather emergencies across the area tonight. They restrict who should be on the roads, and schools and businesses and governments will be closed again tomorrow. St. Joseph County road crews got to most of the main roads, but only about 25% of the subdivisions, and that's making dangerous driving. Another big concern, the temperature and the wind chill. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Paul Emick. And Paul, another day of dangerous conditions.
This is rough. The snowfall, of course, a little extra snowfall in parts of Berrien County, but don't expect to see a lot of additional snowfall. But the blowing and the drifting snow is more than enough problem for most of us to deal with, especially those north-south roads and especially Berrien County. We're going to be dealing with that problem for some time here in the days ahead. As far as the cold air, here's today's lows thus far. Overnight tonight, a lot of us are going to fall 15 to 20 below zero. No problem. Many of us are already in that neighborhood at the present time. A little warmer, if you want to call -6 warmer for you there in Benton Harbor. That's because you have a few extra clouds in place because of the proximity to the lake, and that may help you out just a bit, seeing the temperatures from free falling. That was the low thus far for the day, but now you're at -5, up a degree in Benton Harbor in the last hour. -14. These are current temperatures now. -14 in South Bend, also up a degree since last hour. -9 in Rochester. These are the air temperatures. Here's the wind chill. This is brutal. You don't see this a lot. We know that. 41 below zero wind chill in Valparaiso, 41 below in Sturgis, 38 below with a wind chill in South Bend. Wind chill anywhere from 30 to 50 below zero will not be surprising here between now and Tuesday night when our wind chill warning will expire. But again, wind chill warning until 8 p.m. Tuesday for the problems from that brutal cold. Frostbite can happen so rapidly, and of course death. I mean, let's not underestimate that factor either. Be careful if you have to spend any time outdoors. A winter storm warning in effect until 7 a.m. Tuesday. That's for Berrien County. Not so much for falling snow. Any additional accumulation will be very, very light, but in those spots you may actually wind up with a little extra snow. But the blowing and the drifting snow is the major issue, and that's why the National Weather Service has issued that winter storm warning for you. Brutal cold when it comes to the air for the overnight hours. Take care of the people, take care of the pets, and all manner of livestock tonight. We'll look ahead at temperatures that rise a little. We'll get above freezing here in the days ahead. That's in your 70 forecast in a minute, Cindy.
All right, Paul, thanks very much. The brutal weather has some people shivering inside their homes. That's because furnaces are struggling to keep up. WSBT's Kelly Stopczynski spent some time with a heating repairman today. Kelly, they've been slammed.
That's right, Cindy. The repairman we were with did not even take a lunch break today. He went straight from one house to the next, trying to keep people safe from the cold.
How are you?
Before the sun came up, James Olison knew it was gonna be a long day.
I took my first call this morning at 4:30, and it won't end.
Conditions are less than ideal.
The last call I was at, I had to park in the middle of the road and just hope no one else needed to come down the road because there was literally nowhere to park at. And this one here, we can't even drive down the road, so we're parking half a block away.
This house was 50 degrees.
Even though it's not a mobile home, it's still a mobile home furnace, and so we're gonna have the problem with the roof. I would almost guarantee it.
Olison says mobile home furnaces take in air from the roof. When snow prevents oxygen from getting in those vents, the furnace flame lights but chokes out.
Even today with newer high-efficient furnaces, they don't vent out a steel chimney, they vent out a sidewall typically about a foot off the ground. In normal circumstances, a furnace will run to keep snow melted away from that termination kit where the furnace exhausts at, but with high winds and heavy drifting, I had one this morning that was up waist high, just drifted up against the side of the house.
And that's exactly what happened to my husband and I. We woke up to a cold house this morning. He came outside and saw a 3-foot snow drift covering our furnace intake and exhaust pipe. As soon as he cleared that away, the furnace kicked back on.
Here, we found a 3-day-old baby and a broken furnace not related to weather.
Not run it like it should.
He fixed it and moved on.
Have you ever seen it this bad?
I've seen it with this much snow and I've seen it this cold, but this much snow combined with the winds and cold, I haven't seen it this bad in 11 years that I've been here.
Pretty miserable out there. So if your furnace stops working right now, there are a couple things you should check before you call the repairman. First, if you have a high efficiency furnace like I do, make sure your intake pipes and exit are clear. And just like what happened in my house, if you live in a mobile home or you have a mobile home type furnace, invest in a roof rake and keep the snow off of those intake vents.
Important. I didn't even know that until you told me that happened to you.
I didn't either.
Well, I understand that some heating companies were closed today?
They were. I called several. Some said the roads were just too dangerous to put their crews out. You can understand that. The ones that were open, though, had a hard time keeping up with all the calls coming in. I would imagine they're probably still working at this hour.
Oh, yeah, and getting into the subdivisions that haven't been cleared.
Well, you saw the one there. He couldn't drive down the road.
Yeah. All right, Kelly, thanks very much. And take a look at this picture. It's going viral on social media. It's Elkhart paramedic Jeff Christ carrying 101-year-old Florence Aldrich into the Elkhart General Hospital. This was into the emergency room this morning. The ambulance doors froze. She couldn't ride on the gurney, so she said to the medics, "This is a first." WSBT's Rachel Lake talked with that paramedic and Florence, who was treated and released for flu symptoms. They'll do anything. Won't you love those guys? She'll have the story tonight for you at 11. The snow has stopped. The sun was out a little bit for the main roads, coming pretty passable, but officials still want people to stay off the roads and out of the wind and frigid cold because it is just not safe. WSBT's Denise Bone spent the day with emergency responders. And Denise, what kind of calls did they deal with?
Breathing problems, chest pains, people who can't get out of their driveways but need to go to the hospital. And because of the state of the city emergency, these dangerous weather conditions as well, the fire department has extra men and women on staff. South Bend's Fire Battalion chief spent part of the day driving around downtown South Bend, just making sure people were safe. We came upon many people just walking around outside despite warnings to stay inside. We also saw people trying to dig out their vehicles and others getting around town on bikes. Now, firefighters responded to a small fire in the basement of a home on North Studebaker, which was caused by a homeowner using a torch to heat up his frozen pipes. Officials have beefed up staffing levels to help them deal with all these extra challenges brought on by these extreme weather conditions.
Now we have to deal with sub-zero temperatures, a wind that's probably 20 to 30 miles an hour blowing, and you've got a lot of snow flying, a lot of bad visibility for the firefighters. If we have a house fire or a commercial fire, what's going to happen is all of our lines will start freezing.
Now, fortunately today, because that fire was put out quickly, those lines didn't freeze. Now, firefighters, though, are credited with saving someone's life during this blizzard. A man had a heart attack while shoveling in the snow on Sunday. They were able to shock him 8 times and bring him back. He is in the hospital recovering today. Now, officials do anticipate keeping additional firefighters and EMS on staff tomorrow as well. Reporting from the live desk, Denise Bone, WSBT Channel 22 News.
Thanks, Denise. Kids all across Michiana will have another day off from school tomorrow. Districts say they just don't think streets and sidewalks will be safe for everyone to get to class on time. Plus, there's that cold. WSBT's Ted Land has a roundup of school closing, and there are a lot, Ted.
There sure are, Cindy. Far too many to name here, but we do have a full list running on the bottom of our screen, also on our website here, WSBT.com. You can see dozens of districts, churches, employers, all of them giving people another day off tomorrow because of this weather. Some of the bigger school districts which are canceled tomorrow include South Bend Community School Corporation, also School City of Mishawaka, Penn Harris Madison, and Elkhart Community Schools. Now, this affects thousands of students, teachers, staff, and it extends the holiday break yet another day. They just don't feel comfortable sending kids and their parents out on the streets in such cold, snowy conditions.
It's a combination of factors: snow, cleared paths for both school buses, traffic, and students to safely get from point A to point B, wind, as well as temperatures.
So when will kids make up these days? Well, the state is giving districts to the day today. They're saying they don't have to make it up because of such widespread cold conditions all across the state. Also, some districts like Elkhart, they have days built into their spring calendar for weather cancellations, just like what they experienced today and tomorrow. Live in the newsroom, Ted Land, WSBT Channel 22 News.
Thank you, Ted. Not many flights in and out of South Bend today. The weather here and across the region forced flights to be canceled, or if you were lucky, just delayed. The good news, South Shore will begin service again tomorrow morning, at least from Michigan City to Chicago, but you're still going to have to be bused from South Bend to Michigan City. More than 100 area schools canceled for tomorrow, and that Notre Dame, St. Mary's, and IU South Bend closed today. Classes don't start until next week for Notre Dame and St. Mary's, but they're supposed to start today at South Bend, but they were closed. IU South Bend also closed tomorrow. Notre Dame will open tomorrow, but not until 1 o'clock. Bethel closed campus for tomorrow as well. You'll see those closings going on at the bottom of the screen. As we just said, South Bend, Penn, Elkhart, Mishawaka, more than 100 others are already closed. You can find any information that you need at our website, WSBT.com. The snow is